How many years ago did you start to feel these symptoms?
8 or 9 years ago.
And you'd be walking around and say, "Oh, my legs don't feel right."
Yeah. I would like walking up a slight incline or walking upstairs. Walking downstairs is still the most difficult thing.
Peter Frampton, a guitar virtuoso and one of the most celebrated rock musicians of all time, stunned the music world when he announced his retirement. Known for his legendary live album, Frampton Comes Alive, he had captivated audiences for decades with his talent and charisma. But his decision to step away from the spotlight wasn't one of choice, but of necessity. Today we're taking a look at how his revealing diagnosis in 2019 led to his retirement. Peter Frampton's illustrious career. Frampton's journey into the world of music began early on. Born in 1950 in England, he gravitated towards music as a child, mastering the guitar and showing promise as a future star. By the time he was a teenager, he had already joined The Herd, a pop group where he gained recognition as both a musician and a teen heartthrob. His fame skyrocketed with his transition to Humble Pie, a band he co-founded with Steve Marriott. Known for their energetic performances and blues rock sound, the group cemented Frampton's reputation as a guitarist of exceptional skill. But it was his solo career that turned him into a global sensation. In 1976, Frampton Comes Alive became a cultural phenomenon, featuring hits like Baby I Love Your Way and Show Me the Way. The album sold millions of copies, and Frampton's use of the talkbox created a signature sound that remains iconic.
In those days, it was very difficult to incorporate acoustic guitars into a live set because monitors were almost non-existent, for an opening band.
Yeah.
I basically learned everything electrically, with it being just, drums, bass, keyboards, and guitar.
Reflecting on his career during interviews, Frampton expressed deep gratitude for his achievements. Quote, "I've had the most incredible journey," he said, adding that his passion for music never waned despite the challenges he faced later. His work influenced generations of musicians, and his live performances are still remembered for their vibrancy and technical brilliance. Personal life. Peter Frampton's personal life intertwined with his rise to fame as one of rock music's most celebrated artists. Born in Beckenham, England in 1950, Frampton discovered his love for music early on. His career soared when he co-founded Humble Pie, solidifying his reputation as a gifted guitarist and performer.
Drink? Drugs? Any of that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was never a daily drinker, but I was definitely came into play. It was the 70s. And, everyone says, well, that's an excuse. Well, not really. It was just like the thing to do at that point. But also, I think I was self-medicating at that point. It's an old story.
But as his fame grew, so did the pressures of life as a rock star. Frampton experienced the highs of global stardom, especially following the release of Frampton Comes Alive, but the demanding nature of the music industry took its toll. Endless touring, media scrutiny, and the personal sacrifices required by fame created challenges that Frampton would later reflect on candidly. Despite these pressures, he remained dedicated to his craft, earning admiration for his artistry and humility. Inclusion Body Myositis. Inclusion Body Myositis, IBM, is a rare and progressive muscle disorder that gradually weakens the muscles, particularly those in the hands, forearms, and legs. Often misdiagnosed or misunderstood due to its uncommon nature, IBM presents unique challenges for those living with it. The disease does not just affect mobility, it also impacts the ability to perform tasks requiring fine motor skills, making everyday activities increasingly difficult.
And it's called IBM.
Yeah, Inclusion Body Myositis.
And it's not something a lot of people have, so therefore...
24,000 people are known to have it, but I believe there's a lot more that don't know they have it. They just think like I did, I'm getting old.
Right.
For Peter Frampton, the first signs of IBM appeared subtly but unmistakably. In interviews, he recalled noticing his muscles diminishing strength, particularly his fingers and legs, which he initially dismissed as aging or overwork. Quote, "I couldn't figure out why I was tripping over curbs," he said. It was only after extensive medical consultations that he received the diagnosis of IBM, a condition for which there is no known cure. Its progressive nature meant that Frampton had to confront the realities of his situation head-on. As a musician whose life revolved around his guitar, the diagnosis was devastating. Still, Frampton displayed remarkable composure when discussing the condition publicly, stating, quote, "You have to find ways to deal with the cards you're dealt." His openness not only shed light on IBM, but also offered encouragement to others facing similar challenges. Frampton's diagnosis and public revelation. Peter Frampton's diagnosis of inclusion body myositis marked a turning point in his personal and professional life. The realization that his body was no longer responding as it once did brought confusion and concern. Over time, he started to notice more frequent stumbles, loss of grip strength, and a general decline in physical capability. Despite this personal toll, Frampton made the courageous decision to go public with the diagnosis in 2019. His announcement was met with an outpouring of support from fans, fellow musicians, and the broader public. Quote, "I wanted people to know what was happening," he explained. "If it helps someone else who is struggling, then it's worth it." Impact on Frampton's musical abilities. For Peter Frampton, the effects of IBM reached deeply into his identity as a musician. The disease, which primarily weakens the muscles, began to rob him of the dexterity and strength required to play the guitar at the level he had maintained for decades. Quote, "It's my fingers," Frampton shared in an interview, lamenting how the disease had impacted the precision and speed essential for his craft. Quote, "They just don't do what they used to." The progression of IBM presented daily challenges as well. Tasks that were once second nature, like holding a guitar pick or pressing strings with fluidity, became increasingly arduous. Frampton worked tirelessly to adapt, practicing with modified techniques and exploring ways to maintain his performance capabilities. However, the reality of IBM's progression meant that his physical abilities would continue to decline, regardless of his efforts. Beyond the physical, the emotional toll of these limitations was immense. For Frampton, music had always been more than a career, it was a lifeline and a source of joy. Quote, "It's devastating to know that one day I won't be able to do what I love," he admitted. Yet, even in the face of his heartbreaking reality, Frampton's resilience shined through. He focused on making the most of the time he had left to perform, pouring his energy into his final tour and recording projects. The Farewell Tour. Peter Frampton's announcement of his farewell tour in 2019 was met with a mix of excitement and sadness from fans around the globe. Dubbed the Peter Frampton finale, the Farewell Tour, it was his way of saying goodbye to performing live while he still had the ability to deliver the high-caliber shows for which he was known. Frampton shared that the decision to embark on the tour stemmed from his diagnosis of IBM, saying, quote, "I want to go out playing my best. I don't want to stop when I'm not able to play properly." The tour was a celebration of Frampton's storied career and a heartfelt farewell to his fans. Each performance carried a heightened sense of poignancy, with Frampton delivering passionate renditions of his greatest hits. Audiences responded with overwhelming support, their admiration palpable during each song. Frampton often took moments during the shows to express his gratitude, saying, quote, "You've all made this journey worthwhile. I wouldn't be here without you." Despite the physical challenges posed by IBM, Frampton pushed himself to give his all on stage. The farewell tour became a testament to his resilience and love for his craft. He included heartfelt tributes to the fans who had supported him for decades, often describing the experience as bittersweet. The tour concluded with a sense of triumph as Frampton managed to defy the odds and deliver a final gift to his audience. Reflecting on the experience, he said, quote, "It was the hardest decision to make, but the best one. I'll always treasure those moments on stage." Life after retirement. After stepping away from live performances, Peter shifted his focus to making the most of his remaining abilities and advocating for awareness about IBM. Though his touring days were over, Frampton's passion for music remained undiminished. He continued to record in his home studio, channeling his emotions into new projects. Quote, "I've still got so much music inside me," he said in an interview. "I want to create as long as I can." He's also turned his attention to raising awareness about IBM and supporting research efforts. He spends more time with family and reflects on his career. He's spoken candidly about the journey, emphasizing the importance of resilience and of gratitude. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Peter Frampton song? Let us know in the comments section below.